sound, and you're good to go.
Hey guys, I'm Michael Allen from TravelCostaRicaNow.com, and you know what? I'm so interested in this interview because me and D'Angelo have been talking about this for years. We're going to be talking to James, and James runs a container home business. Thank you, James, for coming.
Nice to meet you. Thanks.
I got all the basic questions I think most people would ask. So, because I'm kind of that basic person, because we're interested. Actually, you can't see it. We're going to show you some pictures of his some of his homes and some of the containers. But anyway, who should consider a container home?
I would say anybody, like specifically with the foreigners that come down here that perhaps own land and just want to put something down on the land before they start actually building their bigger house or anything. They could start off with one as a storage unit for their equipment and stuff to keep it safe, and then perhaps even build it into a smaller, tiny house that they could live in while they're building their bigger home.
See, I like them as homes.
Yeah,
I would so live in it.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, you can see behind us there's a staircase that goes to the top, so there's a rooftop deck up there. And so the great thing about the containers is the structural integrity of them, like the engineering of them, you can stack them or build on top of them without having to worry about.
Would it be good for somebody that's maybe maybe on a more of a budget? There's two different type of people that come down here.
Right.
Rich people that don't care and buy great houses and don't stay in it for a week, and then there's other people that come down here, maybe like us, that are looking for we want a place, but we don't have $300,000.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a great question. A lot of people, the majority of the people that contact me about a house or construction actually just want kind of some of the metal work done because they're builders themselves or they're handy people, and they're on not a low budget, but they, like you said, they don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars that they want to throw into a beachfront property, and so they just want to put something down on their property, and yeah, it's a great place.
Now, to be clear here, containers can be used for a small business, a little storefront, hotel, homes. You were just showing us one that was going to be used as for the girls.
Yeah, it's an emergency shelter.
Yeah, emergency shelter. So there's
right.
A lot of different uses maybe some people haven't even thought about.
Yeah.
For containers.
Well, I parked my car in one of them.
Nice. So I don't know if who shouldn't think about. Who wouldn't really be interested in this? You know what I mean?
I think someone that is looking to, have a beautiful, amazing house and have it be built out of containers. Because no matter what you do to the container, it's still a container. We've had people contact us that are like, "Is there any way you could cover it up so it doesn't look like a container?" And my response is, "Well, it's going to cost you twice as much money because we're covering up." So it's like if you.
Yeah. Why would you do that? Almost.
Exactly.
You could definitely pimp it out. Technically, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got some really this model house behind us is really nice. It's really well done.
Yeah, we're going to show pictures of that.
Great.
So, what would be some of the advantages of picking a container? We maybe have kind of went over a couple of. Maybe it's pricing. Maybe there's a lot of options. I'm not sure.
Well, there's actually a lot of options. Like for example, if you decide that you don't want it to be your house, you could call up the tow truck guy and put it on a platform, put it on a bed, and transport it out. So you could just kind of get rid of them pretty quickly. Resale value is great. A lot of people,
They are kind of getting popular. You definitely see a lot of this now, like on the internet, the how-tos and stuff. So they're definitely getting out there.
Yeah, the tiny house market or the tiny house fad is the big thing now. It's all these little tiny houses, people living in small spaces.
And these do come in, you're talking 20 foot, 40 foot. You can stack them, you can make them bigger, but they also can be very small, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, a lot of people in Costa Rica like to sort of live outside. And so they like to have the majority of their stuff inside regarding the kitchen and the bathroom, but they want to kind of eat outside or sit in a hammock outside, and so it's a great option for that as well.
So I was wondering, is it a little different with we call it zoning. Is there a difference between putting a container on a piece of property? What is it, the same permit thing?
Again, like in Costa Rica, things are so variable here,
Willy-nilly?
Exactly. You get a different answer kind of everyone you ask. So through my experience the last 10 years, we found out that Pretty much if you're out in the campo, like if you're out in the middle of nowhere, you really don't need any sort of permits for it unless you're going to build like a multi-structure. But if you're going to just drop one down on a piece of property,
You're probably good.
you're probably good. Similar to like having an RV. But if you're going to cut them out, merge them, and stack them, then you pretty much need.
We're
all of
starting
your
maybe a
permits.
hotel or things
Exactly.
like
Anything
that.
like that, absolutely. And also, if you're in the middle of town and you're going to put something next to a school or a church, you're probably going to need all your permits. But
Okay.
you're pretty safe way out there in the woods.
Is it a difficult process?
No, not really. You just have to
Just
pretty
a
much,
process.
Yeah, exactly. You get your architect. You pay the architect fees, and they pretty much do everything for you. And then, you get your basic permits, like your permit for your septic tank and stuff like that. So no, it's not too bad.
Okay, I know this is a crappy question because there's got to be way too many variables and depends on this.
Uh-huh.
But maybe a little bit about prices.
Yeah, no problem.
Because I know you do from very basic to you kind of get them kind of semi-ready if the person can
Exactly.
do their own thing,
Yep.
and I know you can pimp them out too.
Yep.
So maybe like the lowest and maybe like the highest.
Okay, good. So we do just sell standard containers. So we do just basically sell the 20s and the 40s. So the 20s usually sell for about $3,000, but they're brand new. They're 6 months old. They're in perfect condition. We don't really broker any used containers just because there's a lot of problems with rust, dents, holes, and things like that. The 40s are much more expensive. They're about $4,500 just for the container because they're high cubes, which are 9 feet 6 inches high, and they're also brand new. Regarding a small house,
Does that include getting it to where it needs to be, or is that just a container?
it's just a container because obviously people live in, we
So you're
send
still going to
them
have a cost of getting it
transport,
to
yeah.
the transport. okay.
Absolutely. And usually what we try to do is have, for the 20s, they get lowered to the ground by a tow truck. So you don't really have to hire a crane or anything to take them off. But to answer your question regarding the sizes and the prices, a basic 20-foot house, fully finished, pimped out, it's about $10,000.
Really?
Yeah, and so you use that as your formula. Well, if I want a 40, would it be 20? Almost. It's about 18,000. Well, if I want 4 containers put together, what's that? You just kind of use that as your building blocks of the pricing.
So kind of affordable, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, I gotta ask you this. I don't mean to set you up on this, but you hear about those log cabin prefab houses. They'll come in and put it up, but the costs start kind of going a little crazy. Now you got to put in your own, I don't know, sinks and cabinets and this and that and that and that. So where's this end up? So you said the prices, but do prices start adding up though if you're trying to do this yourself?
No, it's a finished house, and it's almost like an RV. Like if you're going to buy an RV, so everything's in there. Of course, you have to put in your own septic tank in the ground. You have to connect the electricity and the cable to it. But other than that, you basically just plug in the house. So it'll have the kitchen, it'll have your shelves, it'll have your storage space, your ceramic bathroom, the water, the shower.
So you're ready to go.
You got to buy a refrigerator and a bed. We're not going to furnish
That doesn't
it, but
come out with that.
we'll throw in a hammock.
All right, let's talk security because, I mean, let's be honest. Costa Rica, unfortunately,
Yeah.
maybe with the exception of San Jose being more of a high crime, I mean, they're kind of big on kind of robbery stuff,
Yeah, it's pretty.
unfortunately. So,
yeah.
what about security? I mean, to me, they look like you could never get
Yeah.
in.
No, I mean, I think what we try to do is we build them like vaults, basically. The only way to get in is if you plug in an electrical device and you start sawing away.
Obviously, you can get into anything if
Exactly.
you really want to get in, but I
Right.
mean, this would be.
Yeah, they're amazing. They're almost impossible to break into unless you actually cut the metal with a saw. And you break in through the side. And so they're pretty. And plus, in some units, we've actually welded little hidden lock boxes inside. So when people go away and they're like, just to be safe, I want to put my laptop, my computer, my passport. They have like a kind of a welded safe inside.
Yeah, I saw that under the bathroom.
Yeah,
right?
we hide them in the bathroom usually. Now everyone does.
Way to go,
Thanks,
Mike
thanks for
Allen.
that.
The good
Now
thing
we
is,
have to move
okay,
them.
no, what's great about our videos, Ticos don't watch them, so you're good. Would this be easy if I just like wanted a container with like the bare bones? Would it be easy for a person that does, maybe knows a little bit about
Yeah.
construction, but not too much?
Yeah.
Could they actually maybe do the foundation, do the electrical with
Yep.
not
Yeah.
too much? I mean, if somebody's trying to do it themselves, I guess, how is it reasonably? Could you do it? Could I do it? And I'm pretty bad at this stuff. Could I do it?
Well, you could manage it, I think. I wouldn't recommend anybody to go do it unless they have experience. But
like if you're pouring the foundation, obviously you probably want somebody that kind of
make sure it's level, it's balanced, it's not going to fall off. And even with electricity, I mean, you do have to be careful. You know, I wouldn't go guessing at electricity because it is a metal box. So you can definitely electrocute yourself by touching the walls if your electricity is done by a clown. And so what I would suggest, a lot of people, what they do is they like us to do all the metal sometimes. Like we have, there's a hotel.
What's that mean? Do all the metal?
Like cutting out the doors, the giant doors, welding on the frames, and then any sort of
like windows,
welding and
even?
Cutting windows, doors, stuff like that.
Now, when I was when I first started container home, I was kind of thinking heat, man. I don't know why I was thinking, man. Now you got to do air conditioning. It's got to be sweltering because where we're at, it gets hot.
Yeah,
it gets hot. So, you do insulation?
Yep.
But does it depend on where you're at? Do you have to have insulation? Do you have to have air conditioning? Does the sun just beat down?
It does. They get hot. They get so hot inside these containers. Like the ones we have here on the property, when we're working inside those things, I mean, it's scorching hot, What helps there's a combination of things that help. One is the airflow. So to make sure that the design of your windows catches the direction that the air goes, okay?
Right.
Two is absolutely to insulate if you're going to be in a hot area. Here in San Ramon, you don't really need insulation. It's kind of a very cool climate. Three is to put a paint on top of the roof. That's
like a tar, like you would do in a trailer?
We've done that, actually. We've done like a tar before. But specifically, I don't know the exact name of this white paint, but it's a reflective paint with a high RV value. And so what that does is that basically really keeps the container cool just by painting the roof white, with this paint. And then, insulating, of course, and things like that. So, but yeah, I would say that's a good idea to insulate it.
So along the same lines, now I'm set up, I got my home, it's dialed in. What about maintenance? Is there what's the maintenance like to keep it, I don't know, is it rust? I mean, you know what I mean?
Well, the ones, you do want to put a roof over it, So a lot of people are like, oh, cool, it comes with a roof because it's a container, but actually you want to keep all water off the container because it will collect.
Yeah, I've actually seen them where they have like roofs over the container.
Yeah, you definitely want that. That's going to help with the heat also. So that's going to be the first line. Yep, exactly. And by having a roof over it, that'll keep the water and the heat down. And then
and that's a pretty simple structure, right? You're just talking about just
basic typical roof.
So you got to watch kind of the rust, and I guess it would kind of depend on, are you at a beach area, or
exactly,
are you in the
the type of
mountains,
maintenance.
is it raining and stuff?
And the big thing I would say regarding that would be the humidity that builds up when the thing is closed, because as you know, a lot of the people that come here for a couple weeks out of the year, maybe a month, and then they're gone for the majority of the time of the year. And what happens when they lock up their container? That thing just gets moisture.
So what do you do?
A couple things. One is they sell this thing at Home Depot. They don't sell it here.
Not in EPA or
EPA, yeah. I haven't seen it there, and they use it for boats, so they might sell it at boat stores. But they put it in. It's this white crystal, okay, and not crystal, but like a powder crystal, and it just absorbs all the moisture.
They're like the bags?
They have them at EPA, yeah.
They do.
Yeah,
well, that's
the
great.
bags. So you got them, right?
Yep.
You got them.
And that really works well. It fills up with water, and it keeps. And plus, you probably want somebody to check on it and to make sure that areas aren't
I
collecting.
guess that would be anything, though. That's not really fair to say it's a container issue with you. I mean, anytime you're going to be gone from anything, things can take over quick, especially out in the rainforest, right?
Yeah.
So let's tell the people if they get in contact with you, what don't you do? Okay, obviously you can pimp out a container, you can get the container to them, but I'm sure you get a lot of questions about.
Yeah, a lot of people want us to build their hotels or build their giant houses. We try to shy away from giant structures that are, multiple containers that are stacked up really high and that are far away from San Ramon. Our factory's here in San Ramon, and this is where we do all of our work, and this is where we live.
Pretty centrally, by the way. San Ramon's semi-central, and
Palmares, San Ramon. And so this is where our families live. This is where we want to be. We don't want to be out in Guanacaste
Like, do you-
for 6 months building a container structure. You know.
But you don't necessarily go, like, you don't do their foundation for them. You
No.
pretty much deliver the product to them, and they
Exactly.
should be ready for it.
Yes.
Technically, so you're not going to be out there.
Right. We generally coach their team on the ground. Anyone that wants a house, a container house, especially if it's a multi-structured house, we coach their team on the ground. So whoever they have locally, we'll be like, these are the measurements. We invite them here to see what we're doing, so they can get an idea. But we basically sell these like an RV. So it's
And I'm kind of thinking you could steer them to people if they needed, like, I don't know, the architect or the cement guy.
Yeah.
I don't know, right?
Yeah, in most of the areas like Tamarindo and Jaco and some of the big beach areas, La Fortuna, we actually do have developed a lot of contacts in there that have done work for us before, work for our clients. So we certainly can help them out with that.
Oh, cool. Okay, now me being a novice about container homes, is there something I've missed, or maybe that needs to be said that you can think of? I don't know.
Well, a lot of people ask, they're concerned about the earthquakes here in Costa Rica and stuff like that. So they're wondering if, like, the container home has like a seismic, I think that's the word, code, or if they
Well,
have to
like
be
for
built.
wind, even all that, right?
Yeah, wind and stuff like that. And what's amazing is we try to tell them that these things get stacked up 9 high. So 9 high on a boat
We're going to show that picture
in
by
the
way.
ocean.
We're going to show that
Oh, no,
picture.
no,
Yeah,
no.
we'll show it right now.
And then, so they're pretty safe. I mean, if there's an earthquake, unless it falls in a hole, it's going to be fine. They're really solid structures.
They are.
So no, I don't think you missed anything.
All right, here's what we're going to do, guys. If you're interested, which I'm sure you are, because I know we are. Sorry, I'm over here. We're going to put James's how to get in contact with him right here. And don't ask him stupid questions. All right? You got to have your place down in Costa Rica. He'll help you, but don't come on now. Watch the video first. All right, so email right here. Anyway, thanks a lot, James.
Right on. I appreciate it very
Hey,
much.
guys, I'm Michael Allen for TravelCostaRicaNow.com. Peace, guys. Hope it helps.